Okay, Akriti, can you please explain how the knowledge of commerce will help you in the administration?
Yes, sir. So, commerce being a very wide field, there are various things that we are taught while we read commerce. So, if I talk about human resource management or organizational behavior, it deals with the human element in the organization, and which is very crucial for any administrative person to deal with the people in the everyday life, whether it is their team or the common people. And if I talk about finances, there are various techniques that we use in commerce, like financial management, financial behavior. So, all that will lead to better management of the finances of any firm or any administrative department. So, I think in that sense, it will be very beneficial to use commerce knowledge in administration.
Okay. Hmm. Are you aware about uh, the concept of reverse flipping?
So, I've read about it, but I'm not able to exactly recall the exact uh, meaning of
Okay.
the.
Okay. So reverse flipping basically means when a company who is having its office in some offshore country brings back it to the home country, like India, because India is now providing ease of doing business and less rates of taxes, etc. Uh, what are the safe harbor rules?
The safe harbor rules have recently been introduced in the IT sector. It implies that the rules which are made predetermined and easier to understand and simplified so that the transfer pricing becomes easier between the tax administration and the companies. So there are definite rules with which the transfer pricing is done. So it leads to lesser litigation in the future and it creates lesser problems between the tax administration and the companies.
Okay. Can you please tell me few human resource policies introduced by the government in the recent times?
Is the human resource policies in a specific sense or like
Any like any kind of policy which deals with the labor, the human resource by the government of India?
so recently the labor codes have been introduced by the government by consolidating the 29 laws. They have been consolidated into four labor codes, which is the most crucial policy that the government has come up with.
Okay. Any other policy?
So, apart from that, the focus on migrant workers have also been quite by the government in the form of the Shram Mandhan Yojana and the registration of the unorganized workers. So I think that that could also be called as a very crucial policy of the government.
Yes, yes. And we can also include lateral entry, Mission Karam Yogi,
Yes, sir.
and various budget schemes like ELI, Employment Linked Incentive.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between charismatic leadership and transformational leadership?
The charismatic leadership usually creates attraction towards the leader and the values of the leader, while the transformational leadership mostly focuses on the vision of the leader. So the personal appeal is more in the charismatic leadership, while in transformational leadership, the focus is more on the ideas and the outcomes that the leader wants to achieve. But we cannot actually make a difference because transformational leaders are can be charismatic leaders also. So
Okay. Uh, can you please differentiate between the organizational structure and culture of the private companies and the government organizations?
the organizational structure of a government company is usually hierarchical. It is more rule bound, more bureaucratic in nature, while a private organization usually has more decentralized, more more lesser centralized structure, that I would say. It is not that bureaucratic. It is usually done with the more less rule bound nature that we can see in the government structure. And so culture, if we talk about in government organizations, it is more uh, rule based, more fixed, more usually more rigid than that of the organization, which are usually private organizations, where the culture is more efficiency oriented, more rule bound in the sense of targets, which is usually not seen in the case of government companies.
In the government organizations nowadays, there are very strict targets. Like we have to conduct
Yes.
elections, tax collection has to be done. So many targets are there.
Yes, sir. So the government companies, government organizations are also moving towards the nature of the private organizations currently by making it more efficient and by making it more outcome oriented. So definitely the government companies are also trying to include a lot of elements of the private organizations. And we cannot say that any organization is purely government, purely private in today's context, because there have been certain exchange of ideas and exchange of efficiency oriented parameters across the organizations.
Hmm. Recently, in the economic survey, they have mentioned a couple of words like entrepreneurial state shift, strategic indispensability. So, can you please tell the meaning of these two words?
The strategic indispensability means that the any country should be irreplaceable and should have some kind of leverage in the global economics and global politics. So India is also trying to make their own economy indispensable by having some kind of core competence and core advantages over the other countries. So this is strategic indispensability. And sir, the second term that you can you please repeat which term was it?
Yeah, yeah. Strategic sovereignty.
So that term I'll have to check. I have definitely read it in the newspaper, but I'm not able to properly tell the meaning of the same.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so basically it means that we have to think of the long-term growth also, and we have to keep working for the domestic goals, like we keep the high domestic growth, plus we also keep working for the short-term problems that we face from the global arena, and we build the forex reserves, we build the alternative supply chain, so that the global uncertainty do not adversely impact us. So while we maintain high domestic growth in India, uh, we also build the buffers to take care of the global uncertainty. So this is the meaning of strategic sovereignty.
So thank you so much. I'll have to read more about it, sir.
Fine. What are our fiscal deficit targets for the 2025-26?
So the fiscal target is 4.3 for the next year, and currently we have achieved 4.4% fiscal deficit targets.
And what are the main recommendations of the 16th Finance Commission?
So the 16th Finance Commission has called out especially to the state governments to reduce their fiscal deficit to 3% of the GSDP. And they have also called to reduce the fiscal populism. And they have called for a restraint on such efforts where we are unsustainably using the finances. And thirdly, sir, the local and urban finances have also been made very high as compared to the uh, earlier recommendations. So they have also been focused on the local governance by the Finance Commission.
What are the practical benefits of using accrual-based accounting in the government organizations?
So currently, because of usage of cash basis, there are certain things that we leave out, especially the focus on the matching of the revenues and matching of the things that are going in advance and that are going to be done in the future are not considered in the government accounts. So it reduces the efficiency in that sense. And so accrual accounting will help us in making the exact estimates and exact decision making on the basis of the things that are happening, which may not be in the cash form, but rather they are in advance or they are going to be in the future. So contingent liabilities will be taken care of. The various other things that are not actually seen in the cash accounting will also be considered if we use accrual accounting.
So it will help us in basically uh, a PPP project also, and
Yes, sir.
it will help making the government finances more transparent, better performance evaluation of the government in power. What are the major differences between the AS and Ind AS? The conceptual difference, like you can give some example from some AS and AS.
The AS is accounting standards which are given by the international bodies, but Ind AS is usually the accounting standard suited to the Indian context. So I'm not able to recall the exact examples right now that how it will help, but they are mostly suited to the Indian uh, conditions, the Ind AS.
They are suited to the Indian condition. AS are framed by the India only. Uh, Ind AS is asking for implementing the fair valuation based approach. And
Okay.
there are some other approaches. Just go through a couple of differences.
Yes.
When we calculate the product cost, what items are included in the marginal costing and what items are included in the absorption costing?
So in absorption costing, we also take into account the fixed cost. So we absorb fixed cost on the basis of the budgets that we have made. The overhead costs are also included, which are of fixed nature. While in marginal costing, there is a focus on variable costing and the things that changes with the product. The one product that includes it changes. The marginal costing is included in that kind of costing, while in absorption costing, there is more focus on the fixed cost absorption as well.
So when we calculate product cost, what is the difference between product cost and period cost?
The period cost usually considers the specific time period that we talk about, the financial year cost that we take into account, while the product cost usually makes the product as the anchor. So we takes into account all the costs that we will be using as a part of our costing structure. So apart from that, I'm not able to recall anything right now, sir.
Okay, basically in the period costs, we include the costs which pertain to a period, for example, rent, supervision charges. So normally,
Yes, sir.
mostly the indirect costs are the period costs. And product
Yes,
costs are those costs which are directly attributable to the product. For example, direct costs. Uh, and now coming
yes,
to the difference between marginal and absorption costing. So in marginal costing, the fixed manufacturing overhead is not included. Fixed manufacturing overhead is not included. But in absorption costing, fixed manufacturing overhead is included.
yes.
So this is the difference. So now coming to the financial markets, are you aware about the concept of front running?
Yes, sir. It is related to the issue of the shares by the companies, uh, but I'm not able to recall the exact meaning right now.
Hmm. What corporate governance norms were introduced in the Companies Act 2013?
The inclusion of the corporate social responsibility by making 2% as the net profits was included. So it is important to have the stakeholder approach and to have proper usage of the funds that it was there in the companies at 2013. Apart from that, sir, there is more disclosure norms related to the accounts. So the financial statements need to be disclosed in a proper format, that is Schedule 3 format, where all the financial statements needs to be given by the companies in the annual returns. So it also creates transparency and better disclosures by the companies.
What are the components of digital public infrastructure?
So there are usually three components. First is the identity, which is included with the usage of Aadhaar. So second component is usually payments or the exchange of the money that can be done through various platforms like UPI. And lastly, the information, which is account aggregator that the government has been talking about by uh, joining the different areas of information so that there can be some consolidation and better management of the information and data.
Hmm. Have you heard of ONDC?
Yes, sir.
Can you please explain?
So it is open network for digital commerce. It has been started by the government to include the small and marginal businesses who can also trade online, because we have recently seen that many online e-commerce platforms are there but which are not inclusive for all these small businesses. So this platform will help in giving space in the online commerce to such businesses.
But do you think it is successful?
So it has not been successful currently because of the lack of proper usage of such platforms by the people. Because at the end, demand for the e-commerce platforms is what makes it successful. So we have seen the market share being mostly taken up by Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart. So currently there is lack of proper traffic on such platforms, but the initiative itself is very good, and we need to take care various measures so that such platforms are more used by the people and it creates more market for the small businesses. So it has not been we have not been able to realize it, but we are working on it.
Okay, so you belong to the state of Punjab. Suppose you are made the district administrator, I mean district magistrate or commissioner of some district. What steps will you take to overcome the problem of this drug addiction?
So for drug addiction, there needs to be a focus on demand side, supply side, and law and order related to the drug problem. So the supply is quite high in the Punjab region because of the usage of technologies like drone technology to supply drugs. So that needs to be curbed. On the demand side, the people, especially youth, the vulnerable youth, have been demanding the drugs because of the attraction or the because of the peer pressure that they demand such drugs. So we need to reduce the demand for drugs. Thirdly, sir, we need to reduce the linkages of drug trafficking with other organized crimes like gangsters. So that needs to be reduced so that such networks can be exposed and the dealing in drugs can be reduced. And lastly, there needs to be more focus on the women, community, and religious leaders who can nudge the people out of such addiction problems.
Okay, this nudge theory was also mentioned in the recent budget. Are you aware about what is the context in which this has been mentioned there?
So I'm not aware of the exact where it has been used, but the government has been trying to use nudge theory in various schemes that they have come up with, like Swachh Bharat. They have been using nudge theory, but I'm not aware of the exact context in which it is used.
Yeah, so it has been used for increasing the tax compliance. Government has been sending alerts and reminders to the people that if they are not complying with certain tax information, they are not reporting the tax information to the government, then they need to do it. So it is leading to people complying it actually.
Okay. Yes, sir.